Unwilling to accept victory in Sicily at the cost of the unity of the empire, Sull would pack up his bag and take the troops home to quell rebellions. Weighing the value of England versus Barcelona, Sull quickly decided to surrender Barcelona to the invaders, thus becoming the first ruler of the squad to cede land in a war. Recalled from her mercenary company to lead the empire, ExplosiveSeal needed to find herself a spouse. Seal would break with the tradition of marrying daughters of highly ranked nobles, and would instead choose a French mayor's daughter. Then, like the good soldier she was, Seal turned her attention to the English Crusade, where the squad would lead the victory at Walsingham. Further victories would follow at Shaftesbury and Lyme, before the final battle would once again take place at Bath, with the squad once again throwing the Catholics back off the British Isles. In the wake of the Crusade, Radolf of England would lead an independence faction that included Torf of the Dobsonian line, King Slugfox, and King Saul II. Not to be outdone and upset about the result of the latest crusade, the Catholics would also rise up and revolt. Seal's plan for the independence faction was simple: storm their capitals to take their loved ones captive until the leaders had no choice but to surrender. It was going well until King Chewy and Prince Gus decided now was the time to push for a reduction in the Empress's authority. After successfully storming Poitiers, the independence faction agreed to a cessation of hostilities, buying Seal the time she needed to deal with the other rebellions. Turning first to the Catholics, the leader of that rebellion would be captured in 1088 following the Battle of Toulouse. Then, turning to Chewy and Gus, Seal would split her forces, sending one army to siege Chewy's capital and the other to deal with Chewy's forces in the north of France. As both plans were being executed, word would come of the birth of Seal's first son, Bacon, and in spring of 1090, Chewy and Gus would surrender, allowing the empire to turn towards the Icelandic invasion of Scotland. This war would also end in a white peace, with neither side being able to both defend their own territory whilst also subjugating their enemies. Peace wouldn't last long, however, and in 1092 the Catholics would once again rise in an ill-fated rebellion. Despite the rebellions, the squad as a whole would continue to prosper, with Gus forming a branch and the Hoodles forming a third. 1093 would see Seal finish what her father had started, adding the Duchy of Spoleto to the empire. And the next spring, a fourth son would be born that Seal named for her brother Leo, who had been killed in battle. There would be no rest for Seal though, with another Catholic uprising and Radolf once again leading an independence faction. The Catholics would be put down after the capture of their leader in the north of France, and after laying claim to the English capital, Seal would once again sign a cessation of hostilities with the independence faction. 1097 would see the formation of a second Frank branch. In 1098, Seal would make the fateful decision to switch to house seniority succession, ensuring that her held titles would pass to a single heir on her death. By convention, this was supposed to be King Kleminz II, but Seal would immediately declare her eldest son Bacon as the heir. To commemorate the turn of the century, Empress Seal would embark on one of the most ambitious conquests the squad had ever faced, the conquest of Bavaria. The squad would make a beeline for the Bavarian capital in full force, but would quickly realize they were being counterattacked near Zurich. Leaving a token siege force in Bavaria, the rest of the army marched off to meet the Bavarian forces at Fordoux, where a crushing victory was achieved. Another token siege force was left near Zurich to reclaim the castle the Bavarians had taken, and the remaining troops headed back to the Bavarian capital to finish things off there. A series of successful sieges, culminating in the capture of Nuremberg, would bring King Andreas to heel, ready to cede control of Bavaria. The Bavarian crown would be passed to young Prince Leo, and a large portion was passed to Prince Misero, and the final piece of Bavaria was granted to Osmond of the Dobsonian branch to ensure their continued success. ExplosiveSeal II would be granted counties in Ireland and Bavaria, but would also hold the Kingdom of Ireland. In 1108, the Duchess Helwisa would form the third branch of the Durin family. As the Pauli branch had lost control of Flanders, they were granted the newly acquired Duchy of Salerno. Misero had lost control of most of his Bavarian lands, so in 1110 he was given control of newly acquired lands south of Salerno. By 1111, Chewy decided to form a branch of his own with his Italian and Sardinian lands. Whilst on campaign to conquer Sicily, Seal would drink herself to death at 79. Bacon has one of the most impressive inheritances in the world, but can he keep the realm together and continue expanding its territory into the heart of Italy? Find out next time.